I got a call the other day. It was my sister Carolyn saying, Aretha, come by when you can. I've got something that I want to say. My sister Carolyn saying, Aretha, come by. And when I got there, she said, you know, rather than go through a long, drawn-out thing, I think the melody on the box will help me explain. Gotta find me an angel to fly away with me. Gotta find me an angel who set me free. My heart's without a home. I don't wanna be alone. I gotta find me an angel in my life, in my life. All right, I'm gonna cut it off before Facebook kicks me off. And then, you know, I can sing Aretha all night. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Usually I'm here on Friday, right? And on YouTube. But tonight, I'm here on Facebook Live. So you all tell somebody to come join us and get this on a Wednesday night in the middle of the work week, right? And so not only did I decide to pop on tonight, I brought a friend along. My sister from another mister. My sister Dione Thomas. Say hi to the people, Dione.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited.
We gonna get it in tonight. Hey, cousin Jackie. Hey, Angela. Please like and share. Bring some folks into this. This is for guys and for girls. Okay, we're equal opportunity discussion tonight. So, hey, Pam. So if you know some fellas that need to hear this, because it's a teaching time. So I'm doing, you know, some testimonial and being all vulnerable and everything. But the idea is for us to learn from one another. I think the power of testimony is just that. We learn from the life experience, the lived experience of others. And for those of you who know me from my group on here, Love and Life According to Dr. Kim, we're about 2,000 strong. So if you're not in the group, you need to join. The ladies who are in there, that's the basis of that group, is a chance to talk about the things that concern us about love and relationships, things that people will not talk about in church, in front of sometimes friends and family, because they're afraid of being shamed. They're afraid of being judged. And I feel that's how we learn. That's how we learn. Maybe by sharing our stories, we can help somebody avoid making some of the same mistakes. And tonight, by talking about some of the things that I've experienced and are experiencing now, I'm hoping that I can do the same. Help somebody avoid some of those pitfalls and mistakes, and also help people realize you're not alone. You are not alone. Now, the married people, if you join on here, here's one of my pet peeves, and it's not on my list. Don't get on here. Do not get on here. Just be patient. And your person is going to come as you lay up on your couch tonight with your person. Don't do it. Ain't trying to hear it. Don't want to hear the folks that just got somebody 2 days ago come on here and try to give advice. Well, you know, all I did was. Ain't trying to hear from you either. But I will hear from the single people who can share what it is they are learning or have learned, and share why they are single. So I came up with my top 10. And Dione she connected to some of those, and we said we're going to expound on it. But my biggest reason to backtrack for coming on tonight, because I have something else I want to talk about Friday night. And that is that after my show last Friday, when I was talking about why I was single, some people said I was not being totally honest. And they were like, it's got to be more to it than that. That's all you're going to say? What's up, DJ? Hey, Marsha, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. I was like, it's more to it than that? Yeah, it's probably because you're picky. I'm like, picky? No, I'm not picky, which I'll get into. And then somebody else, there were a few people that were like, you're not single. There's got to be somebody lurking. Nobody is single. That's what somebody said. I was like, okay, nobody is single. Now I know there's some people that are not single, but okay. And then there were some other people who, hey, baby boy, there were some people who were just like, okay, now it's my opportunity to shoot my shot. Then I was like, thank you, but no. Which brought the other people back to, you're picky. Okay, so that's why we're talking about it tonight. Is I want to dispel the rumors and at the same time use this as a teachable moment as to why I'm single and a lot of folks out here who are single, why they're single. So y'all gonna help me out. Dionne's gonna help me, and I want you all to help me too. Okay, so that's where we are. Top 10. I didn't get a chance to make my signs. I wanted to do like David Letterman and go number 10 and go backward. I can't be fancy about that tonight. So I'm going to start being transparent. And sister, anytime you want to jump in as I'm sharing my sins. We're going to do this in 3 parts. So if you're taking notes, and I know Jackie likes to take notes. So if you're taking notes, the first part is going to be about the mistakes I've made. That part of the reason I'm single is I've made some mistakes. Even me, the coach, the relationship renovator, made some mistakes. Part 2 is going to be about some of the challenges of dating. That part of the reason why I'm single is it's rough out here in these dating streets. Okay, so we're going to spend quite a bit of time there. And then I want to spend the last part. I always like to end on a positive and talk about some takeaways. So what are the things that I've learned from the making mistakes, from the challenges that I'm going through? And so what are some of the things that I'm doing to ease this process? Okay, so y'all with me? That's where we're going tonight. Please talk to me in the chat because I want to hear from you. Okay. Hey, Sherry Berry, come on in here and help me preach this thing, as the Baptist preachers say. Help me preach this thing. Okay, so mistakes. Lord, and I'm not even drinking tonight. I started a detox today, so I'm on water. So this, see, we being healthy up in here. So I would do my best to tell the truth on water. Okay, it's gonna be a little painful. But anyway, hey, all right, Sherry, be careful. Just listen. No looking. You watch when you get home. Okay, so first mistake, if you want to call it a mistake, I'll say maybe this is a challenge too, is not knowing myself and being true to myself. Big mistake. And so what did that cause me to do? Choose wrong. And I remember somebody asking me probably a month ago, so why are you single? And I was like, because I've chosen wrong. They were like, dang. And I was like, it's pretty simple. I made some, I won't say bad choices. I made bad choices for me. So my marriages, and I have been married twice, which I'll talk more about as we go through the evening. Great guys, both of them good guys. Have some challenges, right? As we all do. So not perfect, but good guys. You could look at my kids and tell, great people. But we weren't the best for each other. Does that make sense? Okay, so, and that was because I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I really needed. Hey, Robert, welcome. I didn't know what I needed. I didn't really know how to give of myself because I didn't really know Kim. And like I said, for those of you who don't know me personally, I got married first time at 20. Who knows themselves at 20?
That's what I was going to say. You probably didn't know yourself. I got married at 19.
See, so are you kidding? So all you know about yourself is kind of what your family has told you about you, who you are as a girl, as a friend, but what you know about yourself, and then to be able to articulate that to somebody. So then when somebody even asks you, like, what do you want from me? I don't know. I just want you to be nice to me. Just be good to me. You can't even put it into words what it is you need. And it's interesting because I work with thank you. I forgot to say Happy International Women's Day. And somebody said that is why Diane said we should wear purple tonight. And so we're in our purple in celebration of that. And this conversation even is a celebration of women. That one of the points that I'm going to make, really, it takes us into the next point of the indoctrination of marriage, right? And what that looks like for women. And so I think this is an important conversation to have on International Women's Day, that we can have a different perspective on relationships, on marriage, because of how the women's movement has evolved over the years. Hey, John Kendrick. Oh, hey, Louisiana in the house. All right. It's good to see you here. So not knowing yourself, you want to say something about not knowing yourself or being true to yourself before we move to the next one? Go ahead.
I'll definitely say hello, everybody. Good evening. Yeah, definitely, when I was younger, not knowing myself, not knowing what my expectations are for another person outside of maybe hanging out for a little while or something. But I think that expectations come with maturity.
Yes.
Experiences. When you're younger, I'll even say, in my 30s, my expectations have changed as, from someone who is 50.
Which I can't
again, yeah, it's just like, what do you want at that particular time frame? And then different people's expectations sometimes change, to be quite honest, on their own monetary gain.
Ooh, say more.
Because sometimes men or women, are looking for someone else to be a hand out as opposed to a helping hand, as opposed to a partner. The word now is hobosexual. Someone who's looking for a place to stay, whether it be a man or woman. Men and women both do it. They look for somebody with a nice place to stay, already set up, move in and stuff like that. So, I feel like hopefully as a person matures and they have different experiences, their expectations change, and maybe their list is not as long. This person
we're gonna get to a list. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that list. Absolutely. And so I think part of that too, when you talk about the expectations, I think the expectations come differently because of experience. Like you said, you learn marriage. Hey, boo, where you learn what marriage is or what relationships entail, right? And so what did I learn about myself in that process, right? So knowing yourself. How do I show up as a partner? How do I show up as a wife? How didn't I show up as a partner and as a wife? So now I know, okay, what I may need to do differently, and the kind of partner that I may need that either brings out the best in me or the worst in me. So again, going back to knowing yourself and then being true to yourself. So for example, now I've learned to talk about in terms of being true to myself, that anytime someone, and this is man, woman, boy, girl, anyone who comes into my life, and as they describe me, say I'm too anything, I know that's not my person. Because if you say I'm too, then that means I'm either going to be inclined to try to change to suit you so you'll choose me, which means I'm probably lying to myself and not being my authentic self. So some of the twos that I've been, I'm too silly. I'm goofy. I was goofing off with my sis before we came on live. I can be emotional. That's one that I've gotten accused of in quite a few relationships. You're just too emotional, I am an emotive person. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm angry. I'm about to whoop you. Okay. That's me. Okay. I cry if I get money. I cry if I'm broke. That's me. So if I'm two, you're not my person. And so I let people convince me that I was too affectionate in one relationship. And so it's like, that's Hallmark movie stuff. Real love is somebody who will pay the bills. Real love is somebody who has your back. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I am being immature about how I think about love. So I settled for saying I will take security and safety over affection.
Mm.
And it killed a part of my soul pushing that down. Let me say hi to some people who are coming in here. Hey, Miss Linda. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Lynette. Good evening. Good evening. And so I killed a part of my soul by saying I'm going to push down who Kim is to be accepted by this person who's offering their best and offering their love language, but it ain't a way that I can understand it. So not knowing myself, first of all, and then not being true to myself, the parts of myself that I knew. So let's move forward into the indoctrination about marriage. So again, but over 40s, over 50s, you may be able to relate to this. Folks a little bit younger, they think this is crazy when I explain this to them. But how we were taught as young women to be chosen. So if you're this particular kind of girl, the man will choose you, and then you're supposed to be happy to be chosen. So you say yes. No such thing as you choosing. You're trying to get chosen.
Yep.
So this whole notion of, you choosing somebody, that's pretty new. You shaking your head. Go ahead. Give me something on that.
Yeah, we were talking about that a lot recently, because doesn't the man propose to the woman traditionally?
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, women are literally getting down on their knee to propose to men. Girl, you're the one that's supposed to get chose. You don't choose him for that type of role, because if you're saying, I want you to be my husband, I'm, asking you to be my husband, are you also assuming the other responsibilities and the role that the man takes in the household? Because that is kind of confusing. If you're going off the cuff, that's a little confusing. So,
and to do the proposing, you're saying that's confusing?
To be a little more forward on how you're wanting to get chosen. I know people, men and women, I know a couple personally who they're married. The woman proposed. And, I think that if there are conversations had around a particular situation and that's their situation that they agree on, that's one thing. But I don't know if anybody watched Love and Hip Hop years ago when Chrissy got on bended knee and proposed to Jim Jones. Do you remember that?
I never watched that.
She got on her knee and proposed and had this big old ring, and it was like 6 years after when they got married. You understand what I'm saying? Or he chose her. So I think that a lot of times women forget that men are hunters. Is basically the long of what I'm getting at. Men are the hunters.
And that's what we see. That's what I see here in the chat. But that's changed. That's changed, right? So I think traditionally, and like we say, instinctually, but I believe through evolution, some of that is dying off. Men are becoming a little more passive than they have been. For example, I know some men who will say they will not talk to a woman, and I don't want to get off the list, but I got to speak on this right here. But they won't talk to a woman unless a woman lets them know it's okay to talk to them. Now, some of them will say it's from the Me Too movement, that they don't want want it to be seen, especially if it's in maybe a workplace or something like that. They don't want it to be seen as sexual harassment. But
Yeah.
most of it is because they fear rejection. And so they're like, I'm not putting myself out there. I'm not shooting my shot unless I know it's a sure thing. So men are not as, I'll say, active or assertive as they have been in previous generations. I learned that when I came back into the dating pool in 2011. And I was like, okay, so this is me at an event. Okay, so I'm sitting here. Okay, make sure. Okay, I'm good. Okay, all right. So I'm waiting for someone to come and talk to me. And so if I saw someone handsome, I kind of give them the look, like,
Right.
you can come over here and talk to me.
Right.
And nobody would come talk to me.
And so that's my question for the guys. Like, is that the cue? The look? Do you want me to give you a look? Do you want
No, this is what I'm telling you. Men have said, if you walk over to me and you say, hi, how are you doing? Or you send a drink down to them, you see, oh, he's drinking an old fashioned. I'll send him an old fashioned. Then he knows, oh, she's interested in me. Now he'll come down to you. And that to me goes against everything I have ever been taught about being found, about being chosen, all of that. So it's kind of like you have to say to someone, it's okay to pick me, and then they'll come.
Because I feel like my daddy is in my ear right now. You gonna send him a drink?
I'm telling you, it is, but I've had people say that, like, yeah, I saw you, but I wasn't sure. So I didn't make that move. Now, here's what I was telling you right before we came on. It's anytime we say anything, it's not everybody. Send you the old fashioned. Okay, Robert, next time I see you out, I'm gonna send you the old fashioned. Okay, top shelf. I got you. But hey, Arlen. Angela said, yeah, I do not like these role reversals that's going on right now. I really love a man. I love really being chosen. Now, you can still get chosen. But the initiation is what I'm saying has changed. It appears it has changed somewhat. Now, these young ones, like I was telling you, sis, before we got on, these 40-year-olds don't play about Dr. Kim. Okay, the gentlemen in the 40s, they're not scared. But I don't know what it is about the guys who were raised the same generation as us, these 50s, they play too many games. They want to tiptoe and creep, and like I said, it is almost a role reversal, like, but let me see if she's gonna choose me, and then I'll go all in. So
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
So choosing as the woman to approach the man, does that mean they expect the woman to flirt, or they want a full approach? Because to me, I'm thinking that if I'm flirting with you and whatever, like if I strike up a conversation or whatever, or I give you the eye, is that letting the man know that he wants to get chosen? I know that from what I've heard, sometimes men don't pick up on those cues. So am I supposed to do like a caveman and hit him over the head? Be like
I just told you, send the drink. There's been times that I've gone over directly. Hi, how are you? Strike up a conversation. Are you sitting there by yourself? Whatever, and let him know. And I've heard some men say they just want to know that it's okay to pursue. They want to know that it's okay to pursue. So talk to me, you all in the chat. We got a couple of guys in the chat. Talk to me. Okay. Yeah, the 40s. Cause I'm telling you, the 40s might be for you. As long as it's a guy that doesn't make you feel old, let them love you, child. You might be missing a blessing. But I think, there's, like I said, there's a balance. Now, it's not the pursuit. It's not the pursuit. And I've seen something like that. Now, if that's the case, I can't do that. I'm not chasing you down. I'm not doing it. And I have some people that disagree with me, or maybe some folks who are like, they canceled themselves out. But I'm like, if I let you know, like, Tag, you can come talk to me, then I'm going to follow your lead after that. So if you're interested in me as well, let's go. You know, I'm not going to make the majority of the phone calls. I'm not making dates, you know, those kind of things. But I'm going to let you know I'm interested. That's my rules of engagement. Okay. But it took me a long time to even be willing to do that, because I thought I should sit here and, you know, I kind of positioned myself, okay, let me go to this side. This is my better side. Okay, let me try this. Okay, let me stand up. Maybe I need to hold my drink like this. You know, to get the attention. I'm spreading my feathers to get the attention. And you're supposed to come in and they're like, oh, I didn't know. I thought something was in your eye, dear Jesus. So I'm like, do I need to go to a flirting class? I don't understand.
That would be
Thank you, Robert. And that's what he said, that don't chase me. That's my role. And that's what I'm saying. If you expecting me to put on some Nikes, boo, I'm not the girl.
Right.
But I just want to let you know, yeah, I'm interested. Like, you're attractive, whatever. You know, I shot my first shot. Wait a minute, was that September? First time I ever DM'd somebody first. Scared me. I was like, I had to do it. And it's worked out decently. It's worked out decently. It wasn't as scary as I thought. But thank you, Marsha. But no, as far as chasing, we're not doing that. So mistakes, because I want to get through these mistakes so we can get through the challenges. Some of the challenges are coming through the mistakes though, right? So not knowing yourself, that's a mistake that I've made, not being true to myself. Falling into the indoctrination about marriage and being chosen. So thinking, okay, because somebody chooses me, well, you say yes. Because he chose you, right? And then engaging the heart and not the head. My favorite theologian, Howard Thurman, if you all are familiar, if not, Google him. He is a genius and a master, God rest his soul. But he talked about the importance of engaging both the head and the heart. The head and the heart. And so we can be attracted to someone and have feelings for them and be like, oh, wow, it's going to make my heart flutter, or whatever those feelings are physically that you associate with attraction. But also to use your head. It's like, so what do I know about myself? What do I know about relationships? And is this person a good choice for me? I was listening to Laterris Whitfield earlier, and he was saying that like he's met a lot of wives. He said, but it didn't mean they were his wife. And I'll say the same thing, as my standards have, I won't say improved, but been fine-tuned. And as I have improved and fine-tuned myself, I can say I've met many husbands. I just not have met mine yet, my forever husband. Let me see what's going on here. If I'm interested, I give direct eye contact for a few minutes and then smile. Girl, they weren't coming. And you know, my smile is the winner. This is $1 million, and it wasn't helping me. So I don't know. But she's in Texas. So when I come to Texas, sis, I'm gonna try it in Texas if my husband haven't found me yet. If I haven't been chosen, then I'm gonna try that in Texas.
Perfect for you.
Right. So believe it or not, I heard it from their mouths. They'd rather be alone. I'm like, okay, have fun. Because God said this man is not meant to be alone. He didn't say that about a woman. Well, if a man's not gonna be alone, then I don't think I want to touch that just yet. Okay. Chris says it's weird to hear the same issue that folks in my age range are struggling with are the same issues resurfacing with grown adults in their 40s and 60s. Yo, Chris, the struggle is real. And I never thought that I would be here. That's why I told you to come on the show. But I'm waiting on you, because I want people to hear that some of these things. Thank you, Robert. He's having a $1 million smile. Thank you. Yeah, Chris, that's why I wanted you to come on here, because I was telling you, it's nothing has changed. The show last week, if you go to YouTube, check out my YouTube channel, Dr. Kim, the relationship renovator. We talked about that last week. We had a young lady on, just turned 30. She was saying the exact same thing that I was saying as a 55-year-old, and my other guest who's in her 60s. Same issues. So the fourth mistake I made, besides not engaging both my head and my heart, is for a while, especially right after my divorce, I didn't have a lot of confidence.
Mm.
I didn't have a lot of confidence. And I think people picked up on that. So of course you're gonna get trashed when people think she don't think nothing of herself. So I don't have to do much or say much because this is easy prey. As most people who have been hurt, and I said I've met some men like that, I'll come back to it later. They've been hurt. They feel like maybe I'm not enough. And we know those are faulty messages, right? But everybody has felt like that at some period of time. And so definitely having a loss of confidence. Hey, Vin, welcome. Good evening. Having a lot of lack of confidence at that point, or playing to the crowd, which again, not knowing yourself, kind of saying, what have I heard on social media and the media itself that men want? Okay, so let me try to package myself like that. And then maybe, what's up, boy? It's my friend in Virginia. Talking about, hey, sexy Doc, you better stop playing, bro. Anyway, but I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I ain't gonna say no, I don't. What everybody, so men, men like this. Men are looking for a woman like that. And you say, okay, well, let me try to be like that. And I see it's on Facebook in particular a lot. Women, oh, this girl cooks, because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And you stay in Chipotle all the time. And then you're going to post this stuff on here because I'm trying to what? Attract a husband. Trying to attract a man. So if he sees I cook, even though I can't stand cooking, I'm going to do that. Okay. Men want a woman who likes sports, and I naturally do. Anybody who knows me knows that. But I know a lot of women who will post up and know you could care less about basketball or football. So because of that lack of confidence, like I said, I did a lot of that by the way I was dressing or whatever. Maybe I need to do something drastically different to play myself up so I can be chosen. And the truth of the matter was, I just needed to feel good about Kim. People want to be around you. That's men or women. When you feel good about yourself, people like, dang, right? So I was doing a whole lot of smiling just because you're supposed to smile. People knew I wasn't feeling that by myself. We all have confidence struggles, so don't let that be the thing. Absolutely, and it did, and it held me back for a long time. I said, I just won't go nowhere. I don't talk to nobody. I just stay here with my kids and forget it. Or somebody talks to you and you're looking like, I know they couldn't be talking to me. They must be talking to somebody else. So it was bad for a minute. It was bad for a minute. And then, you watch the 600-pound life. I won't even go that route. And I said, well, damn. And that man is all over her. It has nothing to do with weight.
Yes.
It has to do with how you feel about yourselves. Because I'm telling you, it was this one lady on there. She had that man. She was like, did I tell you not to put green peppers on my pizza?
Wow.
Take it back. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she couldn't move. She hadn't been out of the house in a year. She had that man running around everything she said she wanted him to do. He did. He was clipping her toenails. He was doing her hair, everything. I mean, he was in love. And I said, well, doggone. Has nothing to do with weight. Has to do with how you feel about yourself and finding somebody who what feels that same way about you. But we look at the media. Well, who gets picked? Oh, well, I need to be Sierra to get picked. I need to be this one to get picked. No, you don't. You have to project confidence. And here's the thing, not even project it, but for that to be authentic, because people know when you showboating too.
Right.
Yeah, so I can play confident, and then when you are behind closed doors or we sit down with each other and we try to get to know each other, it's, oh, this is a broken vessel. This chick ain't all together because she wants this constant affirmation. She wants me to give so much to make her feel okay about herself, like she's not okay. And I said it in Basin's group yesterday. He had a post about this, having an attractive partner. Like, did you see that? He was like, some people don't have a problem having an attractive partner because of all of the attention that they get. And so I was like, you have to have some self-esteem. First of all, I think to be in a
You do.
relationship, period, these days, you need to have some self-esteem.
You do.
Otherwise, you're gonna always be worried. Every time somebody passes by, what? You know, and an understanding with your person as well. You have to project confidence to get where you want to go or be. Men are not attracted to women who are not confident, and rightfully so. I'm not
Right.
attracted to women as friends who are not confident in themselves.
Right.
So
Right.
definitely that's going to feed into a relationship.
Because you don't
So
want that to look like a birds of a feather when you go out. If you go out with women who are not confident, then you look like a birds of a feather.
absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, and I remember, gosh, I'm gonna try to find, I can't remember his name, was a pastor who talked about this. And I remember again being guilty about this as a younger woman, but thinking that this person, their job is to make me happy. Now, not to say that you don't want a partner who makes you happy, but to say that all of your happiness comes from this person, that's too much weight to put on another human being. I've seen people have children for that same reason, you know, because I want somebody to love me. So it's the same thing. I married this person, I'm in a relationship with this person, and so he needs to make me happy. And so when he messes up, because he will, now it's the end of the world as I know it. That's too much weight. So when a man or a woman sees a lack of confidence in a person, that's draining. That I've got to work overtime to make you feel okay. I got to work overtime to make you believe that I love you. Way too much work.
Yeah.
If we got to do all that fighting just to be together, how do you even deal with life circumstances? You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to. Sometimes confidence is better one-on-one, because in a group we are more self-conscious of what others think. Happiness is an inside job. It has to be. It has to be. I hear what you're saying, Van, that yeah, it is a little bit easier to maybe feel confident about yourself in a closed setting, like you said, one-on-one. But even then, somebody knows. You don't have it, you don't have it. You just don't. What's up? Hey, brother, how are you? It's good to see you. What's up, Uncle Bianca? Glad to see you this evening. Last mistake I made, and then we're going to get to these dating challenges. We are already, gosh, I don't say we've been on here this long, but we have.
Wow.
The last mistake that I made, the reason why I'm still single is I stayed too long. I did not learn how to stick and move. I have now, so don't try me. But I didn't know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away.
That's my challenge, actually.
Really? Say more, and then I'll chime in.
Yeah, just, being with the same person for a very long time is comfort, because I like consistency, and you don't have to go through the whole process of relearning someone and not staying, in something bad. I want to clarify that, but I'm just saying, staying because it's familiar.
Yes.
Because the dating pool has pee in it, from what I've heard.
Yes. It ain't even pee, it's
piss. My mother is in her 80s, and not that she's looking to date or anything like that, but the circle of friends that she has, they are either married or widowed or what have you, and those people are playing games.
Yes.
So it just
got one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel and still playing games. Stop it.
Yeah, still playing games. So, just knowing, when to leave when there isn't the growth that you want is just what a lot of people do.
Absolutely. And so I was guilty of that. And I think that hold on, let me stop and say hello to a few people. I said hi to Uncle Bianca. Hey, Stan, what are you doing here? It's good to see you. Hey, Bridget, Shelley, good to see you all. Like and share this, please. Invite some people. And while you're at it, look, see if you can find my YouTube channel. Dr. Kim, the relationship renovator. Usually I do this on Friday nights, but I was compelled to come on tonight because people kept inboxing me, why are you single? So I figured I'd just answer everybody at once. So I'm on I'm on here tonight. We stay too long. Arlen says women stay too long or stay longer, and I forgot to hit record.
Stop on it.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to remind you.
Women stay longer because we're stuck on potential. We know
Right.
we should leave, but we keep hoping.
Right.
Before you know it, 5 years are gone by. Why are you gonna pick 5 years? She all in my Kool-Aid with the flavor. Van says, and here's a man's perspective. I need to see if this person that I am with can stand the rain, thunderstorm, or hurricane. I like that. It is easy to stick around when everything is good. I get that too. What's up? Hey, Doc Sexy. Welcome. Glad you're here, sis. We stay too long for potential. Dan says we stay because we're trying to see. And we've heard Tyler Perry say that, or Madeira, right? You want to see somebody in all 4 seasons so you know what you're getting. Like I said, the ups and the downs. I definitely relate to what you're saying about the comfortability.
Yeah.
You get comfortable. And then if you step away, now you talking about you talking about me too. Ben, stop picking on me, Thomas. She's single because she's specific. And you said because I'm specific and not picky. That's true. I'm specific.
So I have
specific. Go ahead.
A little thought.
I love thoughts.
Something that I've heard more than once, not to me personally, but I know there's men on here and they can, give their thoughts on this. A man says that they know within the first 2 years whether or not this person is wife potential. So I understand, staying through the thunderstorms and all of that. But, if within the first 2 years, why do you allow her to be there for so long, to the point when something happens to you that she's the special friend on the obituary? I'm just saying.
Oh, I hope they answer and then I have an answer. I'm waiting for them to answer. So it's a couple of things. Number one, they said within the first 2 years, the men, I polled guys about 3 years ago. They said long before that. They know within the first 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
This is my wife. This is my wife. The only reason why a man will sit there that long is because we allow it.
Got you. And
so when you talk about those proposals, those women chose that way. What most women will do, if this is going on longer than we've said this is going to, they're either going to nudge. See, Stan says sooner than that. That's what I'm saying. 30, 60 days. Some men say the first date. The first time on the phone. I just watched a podcast earlier. He said first time they FaceTime, he was checking flights. I got to go where she is. He lived here in Chicago. She lived in Tennessee. He said, and he knew. So I just needed to confirm it. But you'll stay. And so some women are proposing. Some women will offer an ultimatum. Say, look, if I don't have a proposal by this date, I'm gone. And then others will nudge it along. It's time. It's time. And what reason do you have? And I've heard some men say, if she hadn't pushed the button, I would have stayed just the way they were, just the way we were. Whether it's out of fear. The only logical one I've heard from a lot of men is still based on fear, but they're like, I really wanted to be in a better place financially. And so I felt like to be the husband that I needed to be here. And so I was still working on that, even though I know this woman had my back and would be willing to support me get into that level. They wanted to be there. But when they got to that point, they went, Robert, what do you disagree with? I need to know. Teach me. Because this is one of the things I hate. I don't want to do this. That's what I said. I was trying to See, 30 days. She said it was 30 days for them, and they've been together 17 years. I want to know, because one thing I hate when I go in groups and they'll ask for the men's opinions, and then the women will jump in and explain why men do what they do.
Right,
I'm like,
right. I hate that too.
right. So I'm definitely not trying to do that. I was trying to fill in what I've heard from men until the men respond. So Stan, I'd love to hear from you. Robert, please fill me in. Tell me something, since you say you don't, you disagree. I want to know why. But absolutely, when you're older, it absolutely doesn't take 2 years to decide if this person is wife material. Absolutely. And so they know. But again, why would I, like you just said, why you stay too long, they'll stay, because why would I? This is safe over here. I don't have to prove myself, trying to put myself out there. All my needs are being met.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I? Because I'm still holding out, I'm not sure. And you're not giving me, right, any boundaries, any expectations. Okay, let's see what they're saying here. Ooh, we getting some long answers. If we were looking for a wife or a girlfriend in the beginning, determines the outcome. And see, I'm gonna get to that. Absolutely, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
We're mature enough not to know. I'm not deciding on my partner without seeing her in various seasons at this point in life. But here's the thing, not that you have to let her know. Our question is, do you know? So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you're proposing after 30 days,
Right.
but do you know this woman is solid.
Right.
This is somebody I want to pursue as my wife. And now I'm going to put in the time and the effort. Don't you know that kind of right away? I don't say that, and I do it. Each one I married until it just didn't work, or they just lack confidence within themselves, even after lifting them up and trying to build their confidence. If they don't or won't accept the help from a real man, after a while, it becomes tiresome and a burden. Absolutely. If we were looking for a wife. So dating goals, and that's something you need to be clear. People are lying out here. I'm going to get to that. I have a friend that keeps telling me that she loves me, but when I get sick in the hospital with COVID, she chose not to call. Her sister called, but not her. I see her once in a blue moon, and she asks why I'm not visiting her more in the hospital. I ask her where was she when I was in the hospital, which pisses her off. You need to block her and
With the
delete her.
quickness.
That's toxicity. Let me tell you something. This happened, and this is brand new. It's hot off the presses. It's about a month old. And if the person is watching, listen and learn. So that is a perfect opportunity, man or woman, when somebody is going through a challenge, to either show you, well, you're going to show them who you are, either way. So either to step up and say, hey, I want to be your person and I care, and let me show you how. Or you find out, like Ben has found out, what's up, Luana? She's playing games. Thank you, baby. You took the words right out of my mouth. So watch this. So I fell, some of you know I fell about 8 weeks ago now. Had a concussion. Okay. I'm getting better. I'm getting there. Those of you who have been sending prayers, I appreciate it. And so this individual who I was talking to, I hate all this talking to, that I was talking to, I said, hey, I'm really having a, kind of a bad, day. I really don't feel like coming out. He was like, fine, I'll come see you tomorrow. The next day comes, no phone call, no text, nothing. Now he had promised he was supposed to be coming by. He was going to bring my Starbucks. Those of you who know me, put it in the chat. You know how I take my Starbucks, okay? My matcha latte, hot, made with oat milk and sugar-free vanilla syrup. Let me say it again slowly in case anybody wants to send one my way. A matcha tea latte, hot, made with oat milk and sugar-free vanilla syrup. Okay, so this was a Sunday. He didn't come. Concussion, birdies flying around my head. Don't feel like coming out the house. You're going to come see me. Don't hear nothing. You listening, Robert? Okay, take the notes. So look, so Monday morning, Thank you, Marsha. I know I be trying to hide it. God is good. Monday morning, Dione, he texts me, "Good morning, darling. Sorry about yesterday. I got caught up on some things." So boom, you already know you're wrong. I didn't even respond. Later that night, he calls and I'm dry. He said, "Well, you sound like you're tired. If you need anything, just let me know." Why would I let you know?
Right. Because you didn't show
Already
up.
let me down. You promised to come and did not. And he's like,
Yeah.
"But I told you I got caught up." I said, "It takes exactly 3.8 seconds to text, 'Hey, I'm not going to make it. Check on you later.'"
Yeah.
Timed it. I said, "Or watch this. There are too many ways
Yep.
of righting those wrongs or alternatives to that." I said, "You could have door dashed me that Starbucks besides texting me." Okay. And I've had people do that when I had COVID, when COVID first came out. I had COVID and guy I was talking to then, just sweetest thing ever. And we're still friends. He brought groceries to the house, didn't ask me what I want from the store. So I'm gonna bring you some things, all healthy stuff. And the kids laughed because they were like, "Uh-oh, your mama got a bull here bringing real groceries." He brought Whole Goods and Mariano. So he didn't go to all these, he brought a real groceries. And he brought them to the door, hung them on the door, let me know when they were there, talked to me through the glass and everything. Just thoughtful. Sent me books on my Kindle, so I have something to read while I was reading. That's freaking thoughtful. That's intentional, even as a friend.
Yes.
Okay. So don't tell me that you didn't have time. But this man, because that's going to take me to my next point. And I think I saw Stan that said it. Here is why that was faulty. This is somebody who said they were looking for a wife. He knew I was the one for him. He was just waiting for me to catch up to him. So if you identified me as your wife and I can't get a latte because you were busy doing what you're doing, boo, say, I don't want to be your wife. Period.
Right.
So I was pretty much done at that point. Now, the old me would have said, "Okay, let me see if he can come back from that." The 55-year-old me says, "You cannot come back from that. I don't have the bandwidth or the heart width to give you another chance to disappoint me." Chia. So if you're watching and you didn't understand, I hope you understand now. Okay, what did you all say? They don't show up, put them down. That's what I'm saying. Been there on both sides. Sometimes people just don't know how to relate emotionally based on their past relationships. But that right there, that to me is just simple courtesy. If I'm not going to meet, if I tell Dione I'm coming by her house and I'm not going to make it, "Hey sis, I'm not going to make it. Talk to you later."
Right.
How long did that take?
Right. You can do a voice text.
Can't talk. Yep. Can't talk. Right. And he had an iPhone, so you definitely could have done that. Okay. So
There's nothing playing.
I'm sorry, my Siri started talking.
That they are sorry. It's good you dumped them. Hey, now, who else did I miss? The cancer side of me still cares, but I also know the friendship isn't going with. No, she's not even a friend, honey. That's not even a friend. Enemies will pay you more attention than that. Okay. So no. So that's what I'm saying. Words are cheap. So, I want to be married. I really want a wife. I think I'm a good husband. I don't need the PSA. I need the actions. When people show you who they are the first time, believe them.
Okay, Medea.
Believe them. But see, I used to be like, okay, 3, 4, 5 times. You have to earn the benefit of the doubt. It's a benefit for a reason.
Yeah.
And you can't give everybody that benefit. That's not being hard. It's not being nasty. It's not being attitudinal. It's having some kind of self-love and respect. How much time am I going to waste? Period. I can't do it. And like I said, because I have experienced some really good gentlemen, And these two ladies here have had the best fathers. We had gentlemen for fathers. So we knew up close and personal, we know what that looks like. And so to accept anything less is just, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So staying too long. So like I said, the 5-year guy, y'all know about the people who are in my group, they know about the 5-year guy. You can stay too long, especially if it's a good person. He's a good person. Hey, 5-year guy, great person. Just not for us. Now, here's what he told me. So I hope that somebody can learn from this. Sometimes we sabotage relationships because of our own insecurities. Who like that? Okay. And that's basically what I did. Watch this. Because, again, some old teaching. So every relationship runs its course, right? And everybody has their own story. And so a lot of times people will gave us rules growing up, right? You got a good 12 months to 18 months. So if nothing has happened by then, you got to go. So I call myself, I'm going to put an ultimatum. I'm going to draw an ultimatum. That way I'm going to push a button on you and then you're going to come correct and we're going to ride off to the sunset. He had already told me there were things that he needed to do before he could commit. I ain't hear none of that because I'm looking at the actions. So he was showing up. He was being that person for me, for my children, all of that. Like, just a great person. But he's like, I can't give you that. I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to wait it out. And did. But when I pushed that first button, that for him said, you know what? We're not on the same page. She's going to try to push me and force me to do something that I said I'm not ready to do. You're going to try to make me ready. And then he lost confidence. He said he could never get back. But we tried. We kept going. Okay. Just kind of come back together. And you keep hitting that wall. So I'll say that's one of my mistakes. That's not totally his fault. I give him a lot of the blame, but I'll take that. Sometimes we need to know that my story is not her story. It's not his story. That maybe for us, it does look like 2 years. But then you got other people saying, girl, he ain't bagged you yet. And you like, dang. See, that's how these men do. And stay with you all these years. And then 6 months later, be married to somebody else. Don't be no fool. So I ain't want to be a fool. Mm-hmm. And guess what? And still ended up being a fool because all that time and still not together, but he's still single too. So.
And sometimes people don't want to be alone. It's like they stay in their relationship because they don't want to stay alone. And then they do listen to their friends who may also be single, and misery loves company. Or even if they're married, they might not be happy, and it's still misery loves company. So, sometimes, like you said, lead with your head and not your heart. And it's difficult to do that.
It's both, man, because you can't ignore the heart. The heart is going to tell you something, but the head tells you something else. So there's got to be a meeting right there in the middle. I don't think you can leave either one out. Good men and women have inequities and need someone who will lift us up. So yeah, and then like I said, it's real hard. Good person's treating you right. You're like, the companionship is there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, you go out here, and I think kind of what happened, I'll say for me, I can't speak for him, but you go out here and you get your feelings hurt and you go, well, dang, he wouldn't have done that. At least he wouldn't have done that. So know what this is. And it's not going to give me ultimately what I want, but this person checks all the other boxes. And like you said, it's comfortable. So you go back. When a man, go ahead.
You don't want a new used car sometimes.
Child.
Say that again. You thinking it's somebody else's problems. And then you have, these current, you don't water this grass, the grass looks green on that side and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of part of it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. when a real man finds a wife, meaning that she is ready on every level, it's a good thing. So are we preparing in the time spent to become those things for each other? Communication is key. So that brings me to my next point. And this is on both sides, men and women. Being clear about what you want. Hey, Pam, come on, Dolphins in here. Being clear about what you want. That was part of it too. I did not want to admit that I really wanted to be married. I thought that would scare people away. But guess what? I learned I had to be honest, right? Because person needs to know if that's what you really want to do. What kind of bait and switch is that? To say, well, I don't want to scare you away. Yeah, I'm good with just a commitment. And then after a while, dang, so you really aren't. I thought you would fall in love with me and you would change your mind. Or men saying that I really want to be married. But I think a lot of men have learned if I'm trying to get a certain caliber of woman, I gotta throw the marriage language out there. I gotta say that. Otherwise, I'm not going to get a certain level of woman. And you know good well you're not interested in getting married, or you still hurt from your previous marriage. But a lot of women who are afraid to say they want to be married. Or on the flip, people who know I just want to smash and dash. There's a period of time, and I did a show, I have to find it in the archives. I did a show, I think 2 years ago about the whole phase. Okay, and I think every woman goes through that. We just like, look, I just need my oil changed on a regular. That's all I want. Not trying to open up my heart, but my legs though. Okay. And you need to be honest. And I wish men would be honest. Like the cuffing season. It's cold in Chicago. I just want somebody to curl up. I need to be able to spoon. I need to be able to roll over, get some of that morning loving, and I'll be okay. But I'm not trying to bag you. I'm not trying to commit, but I want that. Could we agree to do that on a regular basis? And guess what? You will find somebody who has that same trajectory. But don't come up with somebody who's saying they want to have a relationship, and you know good and doggone well, you are not trying to stay overnight. You ain't trying to leave nothing in the dresser drawer. You're trying to drive through. Tell the truth. And I've seen women do that as well. He's such a good guy. And especially if he's coming out of his pocket, take you to nice places. He's gonna get you, I don't want to let that go. And you know that man is falling for you. That's terrible. And I've been in that position. So for people who are like, why am I single? Because I've let some good people go that I know I wasn't good for. Everybody deserves to be loved unconditionally. I don't think you do anybody a favor, right? Mercy, love. I don't believe in that. And so I've had people where I was like, I know I would be in good shape. No, they would have taken good care of me. They said they were looking for a wife. And guess what? Both of those men are married. They married the next woman they dated after me. They were in pursuit. They knew what they wanted. And I was like, I don't see you that way. And I tried. I stayed there for a minute, but I'm like, I ain't gonna waste a whole lot of your time nor your money trying to do that. And that's how people get hurt. That's how people get shot out here. Stabbed. Because like, oh, you knew you did, and I did this and I did that, and for this length of time, or you gonna pay? You gonna pay? Go ahead, sis. You were going to say something else.
Yeah, he come with his receipts about how much he spent and what all he's done, and how he's invested time, money, everything, emotions for the female to be like, you're not my person. You're not the perfect person for me. This is not what I want.
Ben, how does the whole phase ruin someone for someone else? Talk to me about that. I think if a person, put it to you this way, I think everything that's intentional is part of the learning process. So some people find themselves in a whole phase, and I believe that they can. You can get messed up. You just out there, you end up getting used up. it hurt, confused, all of that. Self-esteem, take a total dip. Somebody who's intentionally like, I'm only looking for a physical relationship. They can learn about themselves. They can learn about what they want, what they do not want. Okay. And also kind of get that out of the way. I think a lot of times people hook up and that's all they really need. And then they don't show up as whole people in relationships. That breaks people's hearts. Okay. But if you're honest, you're saying that's really what. And then if somebody starts catching feelings, there's rules. Then, okay, cease and desist. Now, I'm not saying that you can sustain that for long periods of time. It's not healthy. That's why it's called a phase, not a lifestyle. There's some people out here living that lifestyle and they are cruel and savage.
Yes.
Okay.
I used to work with a girl like that. I worked with a girl. Listen, the stories were entertaining, to say the least. But how do you keep up with all of these people? You know, all these hookups. You know, and all these people just, I just, you know, I don't understand. Now, you know, I understand that there are people who have the ability to, you know, cut their emotions off and stuff like that. And there are times when we, you know, can be capable of doing that. And like you say, a phase versus a lifestyle is, you know, like you say, it's just like, you know, how do you do that? It's heavy on you emotionally. You have all these, what they call soul ties with all of these people that you're putting all this energy into, but what is being poured into you?
Yeah. What kind of connection is there? Because for you to say, and it's debatable, people debate about that, but I don't know how, especially if you're doing it continuously. And I said, now, bunch of one night stands, now you just kind of messing yourself up. But if I'm going to continually hook up with you, there's an exchange of power, there's an exchange of spirit, there's an exchange of energy. And like you said, at one point, somebody gets confused. Somebody gets confused and somebody gets hurt. Can't sustain that for very long. But I just think people need to be honest about their goals. Honest about their goals. Be honest. That's a first conversation. What are your dating goals? Hey, I'm looking for companionship. Hey, I hope to be married one day. Hey, I really just, you know, hope I find somebody I connect with. Maybe, you know, we have that kind of connection. What do you mean by that? So some clarity from the beginning, again, so we don't waste anybody's time. We're not hurting anybody. Be honest. We decided to settle for a now relationship because of past relationship or social atmospheres around us. And that's about the worst thing you do is settle. Because I'm telling you, while you're settling, you could really miss somebody who could be good for you, but it shuts you down, right? Closes you off to things. Stringing people along. We've already talked about that. That's the challenge that I've been strung along. People doing just enough to keep hope alive. No, I'm just going through a rough period. You're my girl. I'm digging you. Just give me a moment. Let me pull it together. And that wasn't the case. So stringing people along, let people go.
Yes.
People go. And if you're really meant to be together, when your rough period or whatever, or your whole period, whatever it is you're going through, because most times people are lying, you'll come back together and be better. But let people go, don't string people along. Here's my pet, here's the number, I should have made this number one to help me with this. Lack of consistency and no follow through. I could do a whole show on that. Lack of consistency and no follow through. This is one of the reasons why I'm single, because I can't deal with it. Don't start anything that you can't continue. Do me a favor, just don't. So if that's not you, don't do it.
That's a representative.
And women, same thing. Like I was talking about that cooking and stuff a while ago. You know that you're allergic to the stove. Don't start cooking that dude stuff and then get him out. Then you put the good on him too. And then he's thinking he about to get pot roast and all this, on a Tuesday. And you're like, shit, I was just doing that, I got you now. Oh, that's terrible. So lack of consistency. Don't start something that you can't continue.
Mhm.
That means being your authentic self. Stop being in these relationship groups and doing the top 3 things that they tell you. This is how you get somebody. So if you do this, this, and this, you get the man of your dreams. You do this, this, and this, you get the woman of your dreams. You better be you and show up as you, because
Yes.
that's who you're gonna have to maintain in that relationship. Otherwise, it's a bait and switch, and that's
Yes.
really, yeah, that's that's lying.
Yes.
Being
That is,
untruthful.
yes.
Being
That's
untruthful. And go ahead.
I'm sorry, I think it's a lag in our connection. But
Okay.
because I'm not trying to cut you off. But I think that that's people who bring their representative, and you
Yes.
can't keep being someone that you're not over the duration of time. You can only put that fake face on, what is it, 10, 20, 30, 50, 90 days. After that, the real you is going to pop out the closet, figuratively
Eventually.
speaking. Doggone well, you can't cook anything outside of that same chicken Alfredo out the box, that you making it look like you made it from scratch, or, anything else that you might do to present yourself to be the perfect person. You have to show up and be your authentic self and set your expectations from the beginning, or else it'll just be a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
both of you.
Because at some point, that's what I'm saying. At some point, you got to show up. At some point, you have to show up, and it's a sorry deal when you do, and then that person is like, "Wait a minute, that's not what I signed up for." All right, Stan, thanks for coming. It's good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. Vin, you about to take me somewhere. He said, women, if your man is out working 12 to 14 hours a day and not have a meal for him to come home to. He gonna say this on International Women's Day. Now, okay, let's take a moment to unpack this. Because there's a very, and I've said this in the group, and those who follow me on YouTube, I've talked about it on YouTube. There's a very domestic side to me. There's a side of me who loves to cater to her man. I love that. When I was married, my husband worked overnight. He worked 7 to 3. So he got off 3 o'clock in the morning. We were dating 4 to 12. He got off at midnight. So by the time he get to my house or get home, we first got married, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Now he cooked. He cooked just like I cooked. But if it was my day to cook, absolutely, I have something on the stove for him to eat. But there were many nights that he brought food home. He went to Harold's or whoever was open, he brought food home. I might get up and have a wing with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not think that is my responsibility to make sure he eats after he was working 12, 14 hours. They tell you another story. 5-year guy, when we were dating before he moved to Chicago, he was working 16, 18-hour days. Okay. Guess what your girl did? Cooked him a week worth of food, put it in little containers, froze it, shipped it overnight on ice.
That's dope.
So he would have food for a whole week. All he had to do was pull it out the freezer, put it in the microwave. I know how to take care of somebody, but to say it's my responsibility, I got a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that anybody in a relationship should find ways to take care of their person. But to say it's my responsibility is a problem. Now, the only time I would take that on and say that he better have a hot meal come home too after you've done that is if that is my job to keep that house. If I'm not working outside the house, you can best believe you're going to have that 110% of the time. Those were the happiest times in my marriage, by the way, was the summers when I did not work. And when I asked him many years later, what was the happiest times of my marriage? The summer, when I was home, because my total focus was him and my children. And he loved it that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mr. Bleach is an aphrodisiac. Okay. You be turning me on that Clorox. Okay. He loved that. But guess what? But he wasn't honest when we met. That's what he really wanted. That's what he really wanted. He liked that money. That's what he really wanted. He really wanted 1950s. You're gonna stand over this stove, you're gonna cater to me. That's what he wanted. And that was part of me. But I can't give you that 100%. If I'm going out here busting a grape, as my dad would say, and 3 shorties, okay,
Right.
they ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. It's not your responsibility. We both know how to cook. But is it something I love to do? Absolutely. Nothing gives me greater joy than putting something on there and go, huh? And then watch you eat it. Look at him too. I put a little pepper in there like you like it. I use the Himalayan pink salt. I didn't use that regular. What's it?
Morton.
Morton.
And iodized salt.
I ground that salt. I ground that salt especially for you. I love that. I absolutely love doing that. I love washing for man. The guy that brought me the groceries, he was an Army guy and he worked for the gas company. I love washing his uniforms. I love that. But to say it's my responsibility, and should I not do that, it's a problem. That's a problem. that's a problem. Okay. So being dishonest about you want, if you know that's what you want somebody gonna cook for you all the time, you need to say that. You need to say that. So that a woman can tell you the truth. That's not me. Just like right now, at this stage in my life, I've told people I can. Am I willing? I don't cook like that every day. I have the ability.
Right.
I don't cook like that. It's just me. What would I look like making a pot roast and all this? First of all, I don't need to eat like that anymore. But why would I be doing that? You know, absolutely. You gotta have, but Robert, not only have the discussions early, but be honest.
Right.
I'm telling you, I think some men are afraid to say what they want because the pushback that they'll get. So that's why I was saying, you know, he loved that I could cook, but I think he really had in his mind that this was going to happen every day. It can, but I need to be home. I need to be home for that to happen to that level every day. So the deal I finally made with him for the remainder of our marriage, and we're not married anymore, so you can see that didn't work out, was you can have 2 out of 3 things on any given day. You can have a perfect me, perfect house, and perfect kids. I promise you 2 out of the 3 every day. Now, summer, you can get all 3. But I cannot promise you that. So if this house is together, these kids are together, I might not be, you know, I might not be that. If I'm together and these kids together, some might not be right in the house. Might not be perfect. I'm not saying you should walk in the door stepping over shoes and, you know what I'm saying, crazy, messy. But it ain't gonna be, you know, army barracks like that. Honesty is very important. I don't expect every day, but at least once in a while. Absolutely. And like you said, why don't we take turns and why don't we do some cooking together, which is so much fun.
Right.
Okay?
It is.
Let's get in there and do it together. You do the meat out the sides, whatever.
Right.
You know, that's how my son and his wife are. I love to see them work in tandem. We're gonna move it along because we're way past time, but this is good stuff and it got good comments in here. Honesty and at least trying to show love and care. Absolutely. Be creative with it. I'm gonna go down on my list. Listening. We don't listen. A lot of times people are telling us exactly what they need if you're listening. Just like I was listening to him when I set that food down there. He kept a cold, could not get rid of this cold. I'm like, what is going on with you? He said, well, you know, I think, you know, I'm eating crazy because when I get off, I'm just going to what's open. You're not eating right. I'm here. Now, this was before your DoorDashes. This was before you had a lot of gift cards that now, you know, I probably could send him a gift card to eat at certain place. But I was like, no, he needs some food. But I listened, he never asked for it. You know, you cooked and cleaned during your marriage. See what I'm saying? And that's wonderful. And so we each do it. Many hands make light work, right? Because I need energy for other stuff. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm moving along before I get in trouble. These empty terms of endearment, I hate that. Don't be calling me baby and sugar and all of that. And know that you don't really want me like that. Don't play. My name is Kim. Okay, so you get the honey, sugar, baby, darling, all that. Dude, I'm still like a young girl like that. You start calling me that, we go together. You calling me baby, we go together. Unless you're from down south. Then I know that's just how they talk. Everybody's
Right.
darling, everybody's sweetheart or sweetie,
Right.
you know, whatever. Questions or feelings. Here's another challenge that if you ask, and this is what I found, if I ask a man a question or to clarify something he said, he thinks that's being argumentative. I've run into that a lot. And I'm like, ooh, you got mommy issues. You don't like somebody ask you a question. As soon as you ask him a question, thank you, Doc Sexy, for coming through. Good seeing you. I tell people a good first date is I buy the groceries and help you cook. I get a picture of how you are in the kitchen. We could talk about, because that's nice. If I want you in my house, that's a little soon for me. Depending on how we've known each other. If I met you on social media, you ain't coming in my house. Not first date. But if we kind of already know each other, that may be it. That's because they don't want to answer the question. Robert said it depends on how it's said. So I agree with you. So if I'm coming at you, now Walter Cronkite, let me think of somebody. Oh my God, I went way back. But if I'm doing an Oprah interview, you're like, dang, she got me on the witness stand, you know, I can understand that pushback. But if I'm asking, could you say more about that? Or if I'm telling you something that maybe I don't care for. And also, see, that's what's wrong with you women today. Oh, when that one comes out, I'm done. That's what's wrong with you women. Or females. That takes me to a whole nother place. So I'm like, bro, you still hurt and you showing your hurt. You're showing your hurt, like, stop. Don't do it. So that's a problem for me. We can't have a discussion, or I can't share something with you that maybe I don't understand, or I'm like, wow, what did you mean by that? I was a little taken aback when you said or when you did. And you all of a sudden think, oh, you ungrateful. See, that's how you can't treat someone. Nice as I treated you, I can't believe you asked me that. Sir, I did not discount your whole existence. I asked you about one thing. But what does that tell me? We're probably not a good match, because if we can't have that simple conversation, what in the heck are we going to do when something really big comes along? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to be really, really bad. We got a few more. What is a date? I'm finding people don't even know what a date is. Honest to God. What is a date? Like, I love the idea that Ben had there. That's creative. Hey, why don't we grab some groceries and cook something together? Then be able to sit and have a conversation, right? It's how you get to know each other. That's great.
Right.
What is a date? That's a hard thing to define today. How do you ask a person on a date? What's up, Leslie? Yo, Lee. How do you ask a person on a date? People don't know. The safe space for conversations go both ways. You should be able to speak your truth. Absolutely. And hear the truth. And I know some women that can't do the same way. Oh, no, you didn't. Why are you in my business? You look, you ain't my man. Don't be you're just like, whoa, brother just asked you for clarity or said, next time, would you do this? And again, the reason behind it's hurt. Triggered. Right? And then they all on a tangent. They just gone. Hey, Lisa, I didn't see you in there, baby. Good to see you this evening. So when you come out, we can Lord, what is a date? So that's what I was fussing about. People don't seem to know how to ask you on a date, how to create a date. Like I said, finding a time and a place to go somewhere and socialize and get to know one another and find out your commonalities and all of that. Folks don't know anything about that.
You know where I think a good place
doesn't require money. Go ahead.
I think I'm lagging, so I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. I think
There's
a
no
good
worries.
place to find an idea for a good date, believe it or not, is on Groupon.
Yes. Yes. Say more.
Because a lot of people go with the dinner and a movie. And if you're at the movie, what? You're not talking to that person. If you're at dinner, you're eating, and some people don't like to talk and chew and, have a conversation while they're eating and stuff like that. And so I found that, different dates can be found on Groupon, and they're really inexpensive.
Yes. So you
You
kill
know,
two birds with one stone. We're not breaking the bank, but we're also doing something active. Like, so where I'm finding out the real you, where I'm confident, where I'm awkward. Do I know how to have fun? Do I know how to laugh at myself? Do I know how to be supportive or encouraging? So absolutely. Groupon is an excellent way. Like I said, if you're stuck, I don't quite know, to be able to throw out some suggestions. And
yeah,
again, not be really intimidating on the pocketbook. I
yeah,
tell
because
people that all the time. Go ahead.
men always, I won't say always, but when men ask the women, we've got this reputation. What do you want to eat? Well, I don't care, wherever you say. And then the guy suggests a place, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to eat there. So
That's
if
the big
you
part, is
already,
that it's knowing yourself too, though. Because I
knowing
hear men
yourself,
fuss about that. Sherry said Eventbrite too. I agree. That's a good resource. Yeah, to get some
yes,
ideas. But
yeah,
I've seen men, say you ask a woman where she wants to go, and I don't know where you want to go, or everything that they. So I think that's confidence, and I think it's also knowing yourself. So somebody asks me, hey, I like Italian, I like Mexican, I like Chinese.
mm-hmm,
Okay. All right, we can pick from that. But those first dates, I tell people coffee or breakfast.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Coffee or breakfast. Very inexpensive and quick. So
quick,
you're not knitted in like dinner, you gotta wait for food to come. So if it's not going that way, you don't have that lag time. Coffee is an easy in and out. We're connecting or we're not. Breakfast, same thing. I got somewhere to be, it's connecting or it's not. Then maybe the next time we can do a dinner. Maybe the next time. Exactly. The meet and greet, to me, that's always a wise way to go. No hurt feelings. If it doesn't, or you got a preview, I want to know more. It's just like I told you, dating for me is interviewing. It's like interviewing. I'm trying to fill a permanent position in my life. So
mm-hmm,
I'm interviewing. And so you do the phone interview.
mm-hmm,
Now I'm gonna call you in for a face-to-face interview.
mm-hmm,
This
mm-hmm,
went well. Now let's do the second interview. Now they bring you to the boardroom. You might actually get some coffee or tea that next time. So now we do dinner. We up the ante each time, so we get to know a little bit more, a little bit more. Those coffee and tea meetings, absolutely. You can still learn a lot from that too if you're observing. But
have
I'm
you ever
finding
had a
out
Zoom date?
people don't know. I'm sorry.
Have you ever had a Zoom date? Has anybody ever dated someone or had a date over Zoom or any type of video conferencing platform? Yeah, I think that if someone meets someone on social media and they don't feel comfortable initially seeing them in public, you can chat, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, all of that is free. And you can still consider that a date. Hey, I'm gonna, and I've heard people send people food. However, the problem with that is not to give you my address, but
Right.
so that you could eat together, whatever. But they can still Zelle you or something. They have your number. A couple of dollars.
And that's what I've done. Where they sent me some money, and I've cooked with people
Mm-hmm.
on video, where we'll cook together, watch movies together.
Yeah,
So yeah, do a watch party.
yeah. Do a watch party. Yeah,
Yep, and yep, absolutely. But Zoom or Facebook is nice. Long distance relationships, because I've had a few gave me that, and then COVID.
yep.
Kind of
I
had
had
to
a long
look and
distance
learn to think
relationship.
outside the box.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. But learning how to date is just, what'd you say, coffee e-cards for our meetings. See, that's what I'm saying, creativity if you care. Definitely have done video dates, cocktails or dinner dates. Absolutely. But the whole point is creating space to get to know each other.
Right.
Netflix and chill is not a date, especially early on.
Right.
And even then, once I think people get too comfortable. So we're gonna do that. We need to change that up. Staying in is good sometimes. That's why I said, like I said, me and 5-year guys sit up all night listening to music and stuff like that. That's great. But every once in a while, we need to go outside.
Right.
Invite the church. Yep, some people don't think that's a date. I think that's a good day too. Go to church. Let me see what you're working with. Does Jesus know by your first name? Or not? I just need to know. I really want to hear what you all say about these two. And then I think I'm gonna save the rest. I'm gonna talk about the work to do. I'm gonna jump to the takeaways and save some of the rest of this for another show. But here's another reason why I'm single. People say I don't look like I need a man.
That's deep.
I don't look like I need a man.
What does a woman who look like she needs a man look like?
I don't know. That's what I'm waiting on. But I've had several brothers tell me that it's like, okay, you got your own thing, you look like you're doing well. So you don't look like you need anybody to lean on. Let me tell you something. And I've only heard one man explain this quite as well as I'm hoping I'm about to explain it now. I am a woman first. Period. Was born one. You have to say that these days. You do. My gender matches my birth certificate. I'm a whole girl. Okay. Yeah. And I want to be loved as Kim. Has nothing to do with what I have acquired, what I possess, what I intend to acquire. Because that's not something that at the end of the day, another human being can really give me. The things that I'm looking for are the intangibles. To be cared for, to be valued, okay? To be loved. That does not require money, which is why when Ben teases me about being picky, I've dated blue collar guys. I've dated entrepreneurs. I've dated corporate men. I've dated academic men. I've dated outside of my race. So I've not pigeonholed who that person is, but looking for, oh, wow, I have an affinity for this person. They seem to have an interest in me. They make me feel good about myself. I enjoy having them in my space. Those are the things that cannot be purchased. I can't get on Amazon and order that. So I don't care how many zeros I got in my account or don't have. Okay. That does not satisfy the soul. And I want a soul mate. So people say I look like I'm too busy. I don't have anyone to care for. So there is no reason for me to sit still and knit a scarf, which I do crochet. But I do that when I feel like it. But say, well, you don't look like you have time because you're always ripping and running. So to men, that looks like she wouldn't have time for me. Living a whole life. And I would think, and this was with Reverend Pearson, that's his name, when he talked about that a man seeks a woman who has so much joy, he just wants to get under the fountain of that joy and experience that. I'm living a whole life. I would think somebody would be like, dang, she's having a hell of a time. I'd like to join her on her journey. Now, if what I'm doing is intimidating to them, then those are not my people. Like I said at the top of the show, if I'm too anything, so if I look too busy, too this, too that, you're not my person. But trust and believe, should the right person come along or when the right person comes along, I know how to balance that.
So why is it that women can't be, are too busy, but as women, we're supposed to accept when a man has a very rigorous work schedule and we're looking to spend time with them, but they're working double shifts, and then of course on their days off they have errands to run, or of course they have to rest. So it sounds like a double standard.
It is. It
If
most
women,
definitely is.
yeah, if women are too busy and the man says she doesn't have time for me, but if a man is, a workhorse and all of that kind of stuff, then we have to get in where we fit in.
Right. That's understood. That's understood. And like I said, and that's a problem. So I'm like, so am I supposed to look helpless? And am I supposed to sit on Facebook and say I'm lonely? Because I've also seen people say, well, that looks so sad and pitiful. Nobody wants to be a part of that. So I really don't know, except to say that I'm convinced that I need to live my whole life
Right.
and enjoy my life,
Right.
not sitting and waiting for
Right.
my prince to come and save me, but to say, hey, absolutely, there's some things that I'm just saying that for myself. I don't think anybody else has to, but there's some things that, yeah, I'd be willing to pull back on, maybe not go so hard on, to create space for a partner. The same things I know when my grandchildren come, there's going to be some things that I want to pull back out to create space for that. But to judge and say, I don't need a man because I'm busy, I'm out doing my thing, I've got 2 businesses, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm degreed, I have a terminal degree and all of this, does not mean that I'm not a girl that don't
Right.
want somebody to pick me up
Right.
and hug me and kiss me on my forehead and call me their own.
Right.
Absolutely. We need to be building together. You do your thing because I'm doing mine. That's what I'm saying, living a whole life. And I would think, but look, Robert, help me out with this, because I had a classmate of mine who said that a woman's achievements has nothing to do with being chosen. I was telling him, I would think that people would see me as a good partner. It's like, wow, so she's got, good headspace. Dione, you're a businesswoman as well. She's got a good headspace for this. She would be able to help me advance what I'm doing. And like Robert is saying, imagine what we could do together. That's my daily prayer. I said,
Right.
Lord, I thank you in advance for my future husband, and bless our relationship that will edify us and glorify you. And Lord, bless the exploits that we'll be able to create and do together.
Right.
The things that we will be able to do 2 is better than 1. And
Right.
so he says, real men don't care what you have and what you can do. In fact, that's like, it's not a selling point at all. And I'm like, I would think it would be, wow, she's solid. So if we put what I have together, how much greater we could be. But he said, nope. And then
Some
he
men
passed
are intimidated.
and several men said the same thing. It's like, no, her education has nothing to do with me choosing her. What she's doing for a living has nothing to do. And I was like, who are these people? I don't know.
Yeah, some men are actually intimidated by that. Women who have businesses, have great careers, they're in a sorority or anything else that pulls them away from potential of spending time with them, or any kind of position to where they look like they don't need to be with someone. Sometimes men are intimidated by that. Some men like powerful women, but some men, that self-esteem that we talked about before, if they don't have their own self-esteem or confidence, sometimes they don't like that. That doesn't take anything away from the man who says she doesn't need that, because the man sometimes that says that she doesn't need that knows himself that, hey, I'm a man of this and that, and this is what I can provide. She doesn't have to do all of that. That's kind of 2 different things, but just to compare.
But sometimes it could be one and the same. And like, it's like I said, I can be that girl for sure. I could be that girl for sure. So look, here's the last one. And like I said, this might take us somewhere else. I don't know those men that are intimidated. Yeah, probably not in your circle. Your guys seem to be pretty solid, but this guy, I thought he was pretty solid, and it seemed like the men he were with, I would say at least accomplished, but that was their take when he passed the phone around. It's like, no, women's education, I couldn't care less. I said, so you would rather have a girl, let's just say side by side. You got a girl that's working at Harold's and you got me. And you would say, that doesn't make a difference. And they're like, yep. Now, part of me understands that because you're not going to live with my profession. You're not going to live with my job title. So yes, I need to know you as a woman. And so if this woman is more compatible with me, whether she's dropping fries and you're lecturing, yeah, I would choose her. But they were just like, no, it's like it's not even a point system at all. Like you get no points for having that. Like it's probably even a deterrent. I was like, wow, I know how to build a table and we can both build our table. See what I'm saying?
I like
Hold
that.
your side. Hold your side. Okay, let's go to IKEA. Okay. You got your side on the place. And here we go. Sex is a given. This is my last one because I'm running out of energy. Sex is a given. I'm tired of people thinking, well, we grown. So we both grown. That means that automatically we're gonna have sex. That's a problem for me. That's a problem for me. Job titles don't matter either because they can change at any moment. And that's okay. So he's trying to take me back there. And that's the same thing I'm saying about money. That's what I'm saying about money. And I'm telling women that as well as men. What do I care about what you're doing for a living as long as it's legal? Okay, because you could lose that tomorrow. Then what? I'm left with you. And left with you and you're broke. So you're probably in a bad attitude. So I need to know who you are for real. And who you are in real life. Like I said, I'm not Dr. Kim all the time. I'm Dr. Kim when I'm in a space that I need to use that title. Otherwise, I'm Kim. My kids, I'm just mama. You know, that's it. But that's what helps me pay the bills and put food on the table. And like I said, and the same, to assist my husband with that. So look, yeah, sex. So I don't care how old we are. That's not a given. That's not a given. And there's not a timetable on it too. So I've heard some people try to put a timetable on it. Like, all right, we're going out 3 times. Three is not a magic number.
Right.
It could be the first night. Okay. But for me, and this is how I've explained it. Okay. In my 55-year wisdom, I may be feeling you the first night. Girlfriend may be drenched. She may be ready to go. Kim ain't going. I be talking to her, sis. No, we can't do this. We need more information. She'd be like, Mom, really? I'd be like, yup. Down, girl, down. Like, it ain't happening. Because here's what I know about me. I'm going to get attached. I'm going to get attached. Okay. Whole phase been over. I'm going to get attached. And so there's no reason for me to get attached until I know you also want to be attached. So there needs to be a commitment before I'm willing to go there. Now, once we go, I'm gone. Okay. I'm a Scorpio at heart. My Scorpio sister know what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm gonna handle the biz. Okay. And want to. But I would also think being grown means having some kind of self-control.
We would hope so.
And again, using the head and the heart and the nether regions. Okay, we all gotta have a conversation. But I'm sick of that. And especially if people think, okay, well, we've had a certain kind of date that's how I'm gonna pay for it. Girlfriend is more than Cooper's house. Sis,
right.
We more than Cooper's Hawk, aren't we? Yes. Okay. We more than Ruth Chris. Yes. Okay. So this a given that we've spent a certain amount of time. And I say this out the gate, and there are people that don't believe me. Okay. So I'm here saying it publicly. That's not a given. That's not a given that you get this. I don't care how well we're getting along. I don't care how much money you have spent. I need to know where we are. I need to know. And that's a realistic conversation. I don't make assumptions anymore. Well, we've done this and we've had this kind of conversation. And he looks at me like this, so we must be together. No, it is an intentional conversation. Are we committed to each other exclusively? Are you dating anybody else? I don't want to date anybody else. Do you? Nope. So it's just is you and me. Okay, now what are we gonna do? Let's try this out. I think, let's see where we can take this.
Mm-hmm.
Is marriage on the table? Cool. We're moving in the same direction. Now, we're doing some different kind of interviewing at that point. But there's a commitment to me. I ain't trying to open myself up to that. And it's still a rotation for either one of us. For either one of us. So this whole thing, we grown. And just cause I can't produce children anymore, don't
Right.
That means nothing. So
Nothing.
just because it's safe, that means nothing. My heart has to be protected. And I don't believe in withholding. So I want to make sure I'm clear. Because I know some women are like, I'm going to hold off until he gives me what I want. It's not even about that. It's really about having an open-ended, fluid conversation as we transgress. And we see that we're getting closer and we are revealing feelings or confessing feelings. Okay, now that's intentional. I'm not falling up on no, and you ain't falling up in mine.
Right.
That's a decision, and we don't talk about that. When are we having this type of conversation? At what time? 90 days? No, you need to. So when are people expecting that? Yeah, 90 days. But I'm saying that day one. This is who I am. This is how I roll. I am not, will not, cannot have sexual intercourse with you without a commitment at a minimum. At a minimum. I prefer more at this point because of what I've experienced. But at a minimum, we are in an exclusive relationship with each other.
Right.
No third party. I'm not polyamorous. I don't share. Didn't do it in preschool. Ain't finna do it now. Okay. You're committed to me. I'm committed to you. And we want to pursue something permanent. Now we're on the same page. Whatever happens after that, let it roll. I'm saying that day one, Robert. That's me day one. No, it doesn't have to come that quick. Because then guess what it does? And this is what I found out. Honestly, besides the attachment, there's less of a motivation for us to get to know each other once we smash it. Because if you hit it right, I just want you to hit it some more.
Right.
It's a little less conversation as that goes on. If it's too soon. If it's too soon, because then it becomes just that. And if you upset me, I may not be so inclined to continue that conversation because I need you to bring it tonight. So I'm like, he done got on my doggone nerves. However, I need the good. So if you go too early, if you hit it right, you better leave me alone tonight. This chat is lit. Robert has to get out this chat. But that's day one. And I'm just being honest. Like I said, we all know, come on. Like I said, most of us, we've been married or you've been with, we're not no virgins. You know. And like I said, I'm not bragging. What does John Legend say? I ain't trying to brag, but.
Right.
However, you know the outcome. So why would I position myself to break my own heart and give that up or attach somebody to me who I'm not sure about? So that's what I'm saying. It's not always like we talking, oh, it's the women, sometimes the men, and I've had that happen. Folks be ready to risk it all. You like, no, it's not that kind of, like, we're not there. Like, I like you. We're trying to get there. What? But I thought you, no. That's just because I'm good at what I do. This is not that. So experience has taught me, don't put yourself there no more. You got to be 100% sure. Let's have the grown people conversation. You feeling me like I'm feeling you? Are we where we think we are?
Mm-hmm.
For real. And secondly, do the actions and the words line up?
Match. Right.
Always the test. Always the test. I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I sit there and take inventory, does it match? Can I count on you? Have I been able to count on you? Have you been consistent? People talk about, I hate this, and it seems like we wouldn't be having these conversations at this age. I wonder if he gonna call tomorrow. Why you? Oh, I forgot I'm on live and I'm not on YouTube. Why are you engaging in that type of activity with somebody and you wondering if they gonna call? You shouldn't have been laying down with somebody you wondering if they gonna call.
Mm-hmm.
You all up inside my body, and I ain't sure you're gonna call. Then here's the other one related to that. What is with people? I'm glad we still got 2 men left. Y'all help me with this. Where did this start? That oral sex is like shaking hands. People want to have oral sex and won't kiss, don't want to kiss. What happened to the first base, second base, third base? That's gone.
Yep.
So for the younger viewers, first base, that's kissing, hugging. Second base, you start touching the body parts.
Mm-hmm.
Third base, you're touching the body parts below the belt.
Right.
Home run, full Monty. Okay, we having sex. Okay, these folks, they want oral sex.
They do. I think that
And
a lot of times they think it's not as I don't know the word I'm trying to use for that.
I was told it was not intimate.
Not
kissing
intimate.
is more intimate than oral sex.
Yes, it's not as intimate. Yep. If you remember the scene in Pretty Woman when Julia Roberts tells Richard Gere with his fine self at that time that they wouldn't kiss and stuff like that, and then later through the week that they did kiss, it's a different type of intimacy. But I think now the younger generation views oral sex as not being intimate, and some people view it as, well, it's not actual penetration sex, so my body count won't be high. Right.
So it's not real sex, but I got my face in between your legs. That's not intimate.
That is
because when I look at eye to eye, they're like, that's feelings. So if you're in my face, that's feelings involved. If I'm just down and doing what I do, then that's not intimate. It's not touching my heart. And I'm just like, for me, I can't do that unless I have some kind of feelings for you.
Correct. It has to be some type of feeling, but you got people.
That's not the younger generation. The first person who brought that to me was somebody in their 50s. And this person didn't want to just go down on me. And I talked about it in my group. This wasn't just going down. They wanted to go to the back door. Also, girl salad. For real? Are you serious? But you don't want to kiss. That's too intimate. I was like, blew me away. So I was like, I had to go do some research on that. I was like, so this is not just the younger generation. And just like Linda was in here talking about what is, this over 60s and what is dating. So we're all just trying to figure it out. But I'm telling you, people got some real interesting ideas, and it is not just the younger people.
Wow.
So again, you need to know yourself, but it's a different code of ethics. And so that's what I'm saying. There's some transparent questions that need to be asked. And if you're scared to ask, don't be out here dating, but don't assume anything. Well, I just never thought. You better know. Replay this from the beginning. Replay this from the beginning. You got to know yourself. Yes, Robert, what your standards are. And like I said, if the person rejects that, that's not your person. If you think that's too old fashioned for you, or I'm too slow for you, boo. I'm in the right-hand lane. You go on and turn and get in the left-hand lane and go on. I see you at the next exit. Okay. But it's not worth it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
worth it for the feelings, for disease, for
Right.
everything. Okay.
Right.
It is not worth it. Okay. And my thing is this, and I know men feel this way about women, but I feel this way about a man. If you're that quick to do it to me, how could I ever trust you?
Right.
How could I ever trust you that you just that easy? Like I said, to put
Right.
your face between a woman's legs, you don't even know her.
Right.
How so how special am I when we get to that? That I know that's
Right.
just what you do.
Right.
I don't want a man that's gonna go that easy. And I would
Mm-hmm.
think that a real man doesn't want a woman that's gonna go that easy.
Right.
So that's why as we grow older, we should be wiser and know that having someone being there for you and you being there for them is important. You would think. And that's what I'm hoping by having these conversations. So what's my takeaways? And I'm gonna see what my says, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you. What's your takeaways? What are some things that you're hoping folks got from this? And then I'll do mine and we'll close out and get ready for work tomorrow.
Takeaways. So for the women, don't stay longer than you should in a relationship. Pay attention to the men's cues. Men, be honest with where you are with that woman. Don't just string her along. Women, don't treat your boyfriend as a husband and exude all of this stuff that wives do. I know that we kind of get caught up in certain things that we want to do as natural nurturers, but just over love bombing with certain things. And then two, what is a date? And how do I know that this person wants to date me? I mean, I'm in a relationship now, but just, thinking back to when you were saying, guys don't know how to approach a woman and all that kind of stuff. Just, being aware of that, I think is important.
Very aware, very aware. I'm gonna have to do a show on what you just said about not giving wife privileges as a girlfriend. I think that's a hard one to balance. And I'm saying for men too.
Mhm.
I think it's difficult for us to say that we're going to withhold some things because we're not married, especially if you're saying you're in the market of
Oh
looking for
yeah.
a husband or a wife. I mean, I think some of that is going to have to be displayed
Oh yeah, of course.
as you progress in the relationship because you're showing, I mean, if you're showing up as yourself, those things are going to happen. I think the trick of that is making sure, like I said, the conversation has been had, that you're
Right.
on the same page.
Right.
And you're doing it truly from your heart, not to
Mhm.
get someone. Because like I said, I've seen people do, well, I'm gonna do that because I know that will get him, that will get her.
Right.
I know a lot of men who lead with their wallet. I know women who lead, like I said, lead with the stove or lead with
Mhm.
their wallet. I'm gonna buy this for him. I'm gonna get this for him. I'm gonna take him here and there. So if you're doing it from your heart and showing authentic care and that kind of thing, for someone who's deserving, you won't get got. But what
Mhm.
actually happens is I'm gonna do this to nail this person, trying to get.
Mhm.
So thank you, Robert. I appreciate your comments and I appreciate you coming. I enjoyed the Men from the Cave. He has a show that he's a part of on Thursday nights. Are you all
Oh,
on tomorrow? I usually share it on my page, so look for their show tomorrow. And it's 4 guys, and they have rich and honest discussions every Thursday night about
okay.
everything under the sun. So I've learned a lot from them. So I appreciate you showing up here tonight for me. Work on yourself. A relationship is only as good as you are, and a
Mhm.
good relationship won't fix you. So get to know yourself so you know what you bring to the table and what it is that you're expecting from someone else. Have some self-awareness, knowing what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Again, so you can articulate that to potential mates. Be yourself. Don't try to sell yourself, doing what you think people on social media have said other people want. Be yourself. So that person knows what they're getting into and know maybe that some things that you've been hiding from everybody else might be something that they value. Be a listener. Listen to what's being said and what's not being said. That is a huge way to get to know people and see where their heart is and what it is they want and need. Learn how to be a friend. And this was something that I've had to work on and still am working on. How am I a friend with a member of the opposite sex? How do I show up and become a confidant? How am I a person to be a companion, have fun with, and then also add those love elements in? Because at the end of the day, it's the friendship that holds you, it's the friendship that sustains you. But I think we struggle with how to be a friend. Know what you want really and be transparent about it, as you said. I encourage people to come off lists. I think you should write a description, write narratives, write a description of your ideal relationship, what it feels like, what it sounds like, what it smells like, what it looks like. Write it out. That way you'll know it when you see it. And last but not least, live your life. I think along the trajectory of your life, you will meet a life partner as you're journeying. I heard a dating expert say that the best way to meet somebody is to be out doing what it is that you do. Then that way they're going to be involved in activities that you're already involved in. It's the same thing in social media. People that I've met on social media, it's been in groups, right, that are around a common interest. So it makes sense that we would have something to talk about and be looking to move in the same direction. So why am I single? That's 2 hours. My 2-hour answer as to why I'm single and still believing that I'm going to meet my person. Let me say hello to my unicorn angel out there. Hello. And that's a person that gives me hope for people who are wondering. And I am single. Nobody's bagged me. This is a right-hand ring. This is not an engagement ring. My auntie thought I was engaged. No, it's just something I treated myself to. So I am single. And these are all of the reasons why I'm single. The mistakes that I've made, the challenges that are out here. But I know that there's hope because I'm working on me. And I got my good eyes out there. So if I see a matcha tea latte come my way, I'll know who was listening. Knowing who you are, what you want. Like, thank you all so much. Thank you, Dione, for hanging out with me and helping me unpack this thing. Please follow me on YouTube, Dr. Kim, the Relationship Renovator. We'll be there on Friday night talking about dating dilemmas and other stuff. You can also follow me here on Facebook, The Complete Suite LLC, where I do life coaching and relationship coaching. So if you want to talk to me about things that are going on in your own life, I'm your girl. I would love to coach you. You can book an appointment through that page. But for now, see you Friday night and good night.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming and hanging out this long. Bye-bye.